Don't be transactional in nature. Think about the longitudinal partnership. Think about matching. What are you trying to do? Who you're trying to reach? What are you trying to say with who the creator is trying to reach or already does reach, their style and their tone, and making sure that a match works really well is super important. So instead of thinking about how you're going to find someone who can amplify your voice, think about someone who can validate your voice.
Hello, I'm Brianna Doe, and this is Stop the Scroll. So let's get into the content that makes us stop, click, and care. All right, well, I am so excited to be here today with Davang Shah from LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining me.
Bree, thanks for having me.
Okay, I have 1,000,001 questions for you, so I'm going to try
do
and
it.
temper it. First and foremost, can you walk us through this exciting announcement about the Creator Marketplace? What is it? Why are you launching it?
So if you think about LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is purpose-built for B2B marketers, right? So we have a community over 1.3 billion professionals. There are over 100 million verified individuals, 70 million companies. So if you think about B2B and professionals, it's where people go to have conversations, to learn, to grow, and develop. And we realize, if you think about the next generation of B2B buyers, 71% of them are Gen Z and millennials. So they're looking for people who are creators, who have deep knowledge, deep expertise, who've become experts in the space that they occupy. And so we recognize the opportunity to connect brands who are looking for those sorts of folks to influence the people that they want to, and to create an ecosystem, if you will, a marketplace where creators can then connect with the brands that they can have long-term relationships with and candidly build businesses.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, as a creator and as an influencer marketer, I might be a little biased, but I think it's an incredible idea. I do think one thing that's interesting is, when you think about Instagram or TikTok or platforms that cater and create marketplaces for those platforms, it's a little different, right? Like you can hide behind a fake username or, a fake profile picture. On LinkedIn, I'm preaching to the choir, but it's a lot more, you can't be as hidden.
It's
right?
real.
So how do you think that impacts the creator-brand relationship?
So I think there are a few things. One, you are talking to real people. They're verified, authentic experiences, like how they've grown and developed. They're sharing that perspective. You are who you are on the platform. And that level of authenticity builds trust. And trust leads to the ability to influence other people, right? When you know you're having a real conversation, that's extraordinarily valuable. And LinkedIn is a platform where that happens. And as a B2B brand, you want to be connected to consumers or to buyers in that setting. And so that's why we've seen success. And from a marketplace perspective, being able to create an ecosystem where brands can identify who the creators are that they want to work with based on the audiences that they reach, the topics that they talk about, and the profiles of the people, that makes your sort of connection even more valuable and more authentic and helps you achieve the business goals that you're trying to achieve.
I love it. So what about this new marketplace are you most excited for?
So I think most importantly, it's that brands now have a place to connect with creators that are aligned against their interests, and creators have an opportunity to build real businesses. So if you are a brand, you know what messages that you've delivered are resonating, you know who the audience is that you want to reach. And now we've created a platform that allows you to find the creators who do just that. And the beautiful thing is that you can build longer term relationships. One of the things that we know about B2B marketing is that that entire process actually takes a long time to go from when you consider buying something to when you actually buy. It's actually 272 days. And there are over 22 people who will actually influence that buying decision. And so when you're in that type of environment, you want to build relationships with creators who can help actually guide someone through that entire purchase process. So it's about building sustained relationships, ones that are healthy both for the creators and the brands. That's what I'm most proud of.
I love it. And I think you bring up a really good point about B2B brands, right? You see so many, people talk about it all the time, but so many like one-off posts or one-off sponsored posts specifically, and how that doesn't really lend itself to the influencer marketing landscape before B2B. And I think most of the creator marketplaces that we see cater to that because it is more transactional.
It's actually really deep insight, and I think you're right. In the B2C setting, that's typically what you see. It's sort of one and done and you move on, and the transaction's short, so it doesn't really make sense. It makes sense in the context of B2C, but not for B2B. And so that process from a B2B perspective is much longer. It's more involved. What's also a point of differentiation I think is really important, Bree, is this whole notion of expertise. Right? So when you think about who you're going to get influenced by, in the B2B space, it's someone who's built expertise, knowledge, authenticity. They put forth a perspective, not just once, but over a longer period of time. And when you do that, you build credibility. And in the world of credibility and B2B marketing, you need to find a way to be buyable. And when I say buyable, it means what makes it safe for the person on the other end who's going to make that decision to actually choose your brand. And that's how you can make sure that you're discoverable, you're found. How do you make sure you're credible? And then ultimately that you're winnable, that you're delivering the results that you say you're going to deliver. And when you do that, you build the collective confidence from a buyer perspective to make the choice to buy your brand, something that's defensible in context of how they look at things in the world that they operate in the businesses that they run.
I love that you said this because I think that's such an important topic in B2B, like with this creator versus practitioner versus, thought leader, industry leader. I think a lot of people think you can just treat LinkedIn like you treat Instagram or TikTok, but it really is about building that credibility, and that takes time.
It's one of the big differences, Bree, is if you think about an influencer, I don't love the word, I think about creators, people who are built businesses and it's grounded in the expertise that they've developed. These aren't folks that you're going to expect to have 100 million followers, but you know what they will have? They'll have the 50,000 followers who are really deeply interested in that specific area of expertise that you developed. And so the amount of influence you have within that sphere, it's exponential. And so from a brand's perspective, it's reaching those people that's more important. And so when you find a creator that connects with the brand in that space, you see amazing things happen.
I love it. What don't you like about the word influencer?
I think it sells people short in context of what they actually deliver. And so I think creators are people who bring a level of creativity, expertise, and business acumen that I think really more justifies what they do in context of comparison to an influencer.
I think you just ended like a decade-long debate about creator versus influencer.
I have a lot of respect for people who identify in either category, right. But I do believe creators have an ability to actually influence businesses in pretty profound ways.
Yeah, I love that. So with all this in mind, this shift towards B2B influencer marketing and how it's kind of taking over the space, what about the creator marketplace did you want to do differently than other creator platforms or marketplaces?
I think it is grounded in the notion that the people you're going to connect with through the marketplace are people who've developed deep expertise. And so the benefit of what we can provide is, as a marketer who your audience is, what messages resonate, and ultimately who you're trying to connect with. And then when you think about the creator side of things, you're in a world where we know who you're reaching, we know the audience profile, so what types of positions they're made up of, how they've been communicating with the group of people that they tend to communicate with or influence. And so connecting those two in the setting that we're able to in that context of a B2B environment, again, 1.3 million or billion professionals, 70 million companies, 100 million verified users, that you're going to have real conversations, real perspective, real dialogue over a sustained period of time that actually delivers on real business results. And Bree, that's probably one of the things that I think is most interesting in B2B right now is a lot of pressure across all marketing to deliver real results. I think it's extraordinarily even greater in context of B2B, right? CFOs are talking to CMOs and saying, what are the bottom line results that you're driving? And for B2B marketers, that means we need to be able to build these full funnel campaigns that are able to traverse not just a funnel, but actually this sort of climbing wall world of what interactions with your brand might look like, and that actually lead to real outcomes over optics. No more focusing on clicks and impressions, but let's actually get to the stuff that matters. Are you driving pipeline, deals, deal velocity, or actual revenue for your business?
I know I keep saying it, but I love that too. I think taking my creator hat off and putting the influencer marketer hat on, that's kind of the uphill battle right now with B2B influencer marketing because it's still so new to so many companies. You're trying to validate it before you've even started. And so I think part of the gap there has been like a marketplace that kind of allows us to spend less time with the sourcing, spend less time just trying to get the conversation started and actually move forward into partnerships.
Bree, the best partnerships that I've seen between creators and brands, they start early. Bring you in when we're thinking about the brief. We're thinking about who we're trying to influence, who we're trying to reach. Help you co-create with us so that we're building something that we know is going to resonate and then build it over that longer period of time, that longitudinal perspective that transforms the way marketers think about things. And when we know that that process takes 272 days and we know there's 22 people in that buyer group, that's the only way you're going to be successful. And I think the other big shift that we're seeing is how do you build products and solutions that are going to ultimately help drive those outcomes like pipeline or revenue? And then build the measurement solutions that help tell the story of people like you, Bree, and the influence that you have across that climbing wall from when people find out about your brand to when they're ultimately purchasing and celebrating that purchase across their own companies.
So if we fast forward, let's say 2 to 3 years, in a perfect world, like what does the creator brand relationship look like on LinkedIn?
Every brand and every creator have partners that are specifically tied to the goals that they're trying to drive. Now, if you look at our evolution, it started a few years ago when we launched BrandLink that enabled brands to connect with premium publishers. We expanded that to creators. After BrandLink, we launched Top Voices 360, which is a program that's exactly designed based on what we've been talking about, more longitudinal partnerships. So not just in-stream ads, could be bespoke programming or off-platform events and appearances and experiences. So we built an ecosystem for creators to actually build real sustainable businesses. We've just launched advice sessions, which is about how you can talk to someone like you who's built a massive following and learn about what you've done and how I could potentially do that as well. And you'll see us continue to innovate. I think Creator Marketplace is the first step, if you will, at bringing all of that together from a brand perspective as well as a creative perspective. But you'll see us continue to double down and invest in the future.
I'm so excited about this.
Same.
So final question for you. I know you
Please.
have brands in alpha already,
Yeah.
right? Have you learned anything interesting so far?
Listen, we are taking this incredibly seriously. So the best way to describe it is being really intentional about the brands that we're bringing on, really intentional about the creators that we're inviting, making sure those matches are happening, and then learning. So the best thing we can do in alphas is always listen and learn. So we're talking to the creators, talking to the brands. A number of campaigns have already launched, and we'll track what success looks like. But that's going to be a longer period of time, like we talked about throughout that cycle of 272 days. But so far, everything is looking great, and we're hearing great feedback from both the brand and creator side, which is most important.
Okay, I lied. One more question.
All right, let's do it.
Is there an education piece to this too? Like with the brands that are in alpha, are you finding that some of this requires you to kind of teach them how to approach influencer marketing?
So there are always best practices that we have
Yeah.
to share, right? So just even the conversation of saying, don't be transactional in nature, right? Think about the longitudinal partnership. Think about matching. What are you trying to do? Who you're trying to reach? What are you trying to say? With who the creator is trying to reach or already does reach, their style and their tone, and making sure that a match works really well is super important. I think secondarily, it's always that notion, you hit on it earlier, is the world of B2B influencing creators is very different than B2C. So instead of thinking about how you're going to find someone who can amplify your voice, think about someone who can validate your voice. And that's what B2B marketers and B2B creators are doing and finding the most success in.
Well, I'm so pumped for this. I'm really excited about it. I think it's the perfect time for this type of marketplace. And I just love how LinkedIn is ushering creators and brands into more impactful relationships and impactful partnerships and just making it easier for us to connect. So
I appreciate that. I'm excited about it as well. We've seen great things, but it's time for me to turn the table on you. You're here in New York. We're hanging out in New York. It's a beautiful space. You got one night. Where are you going to eat?
Okay, I have been thinking about this place for years, actually.
Okay.
When I was a kid, so my family's from Brooklyn, so we would come here all the time. There was this tiny place, I'm probably gonna try and find it tonight, where they serve the best pizza and also these freshly made donuts that they make right in front of you. And it was somewhere in Bed-Stuy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna find it tonight.
All right.
Hopefully it's still open, and that's where I'm going.
Deal. You have to hit me up on LinkedIn and
I
message
will.
me where you want.
I will. What about you?
Whenever I come, you're going to laugh, but my favorite place to go and the people I get to work with and support here will laugh as well. But Los Tacos, #1. Got to have Los Tacos every time I'm here. So.
Okay, I'll try it. My husband really wants to go to the Taco Bell Cantina.
Oh, I've seen it. Yes,
Okay,
I've
so
seen it.
I support it.
A close second to Los Tacos.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll try it.
All right.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate
Thanks, Bree.
Thanks.